Hi, this is Vicky, also known as Dragonfly7673. This is DragonflySoars, and it is about 6:45 on Tuesday, June 17th. I could remember the 17 and totally blanked on the month for a second. Partially because this year is going so fast. I looked at the calendar the other day and I in my head, I knew that this coming weekend I'm taking my cats to visit my mom and my son so we can go to DC. But it didn't process through that we're going to DC next week. I mean, granted, it's next Friday, but still. So, it's just kind of, everything's just moving. And all of a sudden now we're like, oh, we should really start thinking about what do we really want to see. Who do we want to see? So, we tend to, well, this is only our second full vacation. Last year we went to St. Louis. But when we went to St. Louis, we found that we really kind of operate the same way. We like to know that there's a couple things we're absolutely going to see, and then there's lots of time to explore. So, and it makes us good travel buddies, which is good. When I was married, we didn't go on a lot of vacations, but it didn't go so well because we had very different ideas. And that was, of course, over a decade ago. So, but new guy and I, we have a very similar taste in travel plans. I have a few things to talk about, some things to show you, some that I'm excited about, and then at the end of this, I have a 7-minute tutorial that you can skip if you want. It is about using the activity tab on Ravelry to help you monitor your forums. So, if you already know how to do that, if you just heard that and went, oh, I got that, you don't need to watch that part. If you just heard that and went, huh? What's that? Then you might want to stick around. So, what have I been doing? Oh, well, first of all, very important, yesterday I took all the shawls over to Threads of Compassion, and we ended up with 4 bins, and fairly good sized bins, full of shawls. And then when we got there, Lynn had me actually show each and every one. So it was a very good thing that best friend came with me, because he had to help to hold all the shawls because of course they were big. So he got his picture taken with me, and I think he felt a little silly since although he is supportive of the podcast, supportive of me, of course supportive of anything I'm going to do, he wasn't directly involved in it. So I think he felt, I'm not sure he totally wanted his picture taken, but he cooperated. I was teasing him the last time we got our picture taken together nicely was at the Susan G. Komen walk a couple years ago, and he's wearing the exact same shirt. So my only couple pictures with him, he looks the same. Anyway, so, but I'm going to stop and post pictures here from that. We didn't take them. One of the people there took them. So, here you go. So my favorite picture of that whole bunch is me on top of the pile. So I also put on here, there was a map that I gave to them that had where all the shawls came from. If you donated a shawl, your Ravelry name and your first name are on there. Only the family got full names. They're also color-coded. But they were just so excited to see about the shawls being from all over. And they remembered that Jing Jing had called from Vegas and actually asked for more info. And Len says she remembers being so confused why somebody from Vegas would be calling to find out about donating shawls to Wisconsin. So it was really good. And then she presented something to me. So this box, and she's going to be sending me another one. It has two things in it. First of all, when they did the trees, apparently they also, throughout Freighter Hospital, put panels on the doors. And this panel happens to have Dad on it as a donator. And so she saved it for me. And she says she believes she has another panel, and she's going to send it so I can give it to either Tiff or Mom. I couldn't believe she had done that. It was very, very thoughtful. And she also gave me a remembrance candle. And she's going to be making another candle. I don't do candles because I have the worst cats. So she's making another one, and I'm going to give one to Tiff and one to Mom. And I'm just going to keep the panel I have. And I'll probably give the other panel to Mom. But it was very sweet. I started crying. So that was very unexpected, and it was kind of the thank you back. So I still can't believe how much you guys helped. So thank you so much. Okay, so that was big news from yesterday. Then I have been knitting on my fruit stripe gum socks, but they look pretty much the same. They just have a couple more stripes. I mostly knit on them on Sunday. What did we do Saturday? Oh, Saturday was a whole different thing. Sunday was Father's Day, and my best friend's father always helps with this local fly-in on Father's Day, and they do a pancake breakfast. And so last year I went there with him, and that was actually the first time I had met part of his family. And then so we went again this year. Father's Day is hard because even though we didn't truly celebrate it that much in my family, now it's a reminder that Dad's not here anymore. So it was a good distraction, and they are incredibly welcoming, including this time I got to meet more of the extended family, and apparently I made a good impression according to best friend's mother. Thankfully. I always get a little worried. Not that, I mean, he likes me, that's all that matters, but you know, you always you get the family too, so that's good. Now, so I have just one picture from there, but let me post it here anyway. And on the way to and from is when I worked on my sock, but I only got a couple stripes done, so I didn't bother to bring it up. I'm sorry, I'm also very hot. I came home and the downstairs is nice and cool, and the upstairs is boiling. And apparently, even though I had the air conditioner on, I had the fan on auto. Well, I've never figured out what auto does, but it doesn't work very well in the summer. it works fine in the winter. In the winter I have to remember to turn it off. In the summer I have to remember to force it on. But anyway, it is boiling upstairs and it's just starting to kind of cool down. It's one of the reasons I'm recording a little later. So, I also worked on my Wind in the Willow shawl. I am not very far. Clue 4, you're supposed to repeat 6 times, and I am just on I've got a row and a half to do on the second repeat. So I'm not very far, and they're already on Clue 5. So, you will notice, you can partially tell that there are beads in there. I'll take a picture with a close-up with the beads. And you will see that I have a lifeline in there. Now, I used a size 3 crochet cotton. I should have used probably a size 10. It was really, I just used a tapestry needle and thread through right before the second repeat. And it was hard on the first row to work those stitches. Actually, working the stitches was fine. Sliding them onto the needle was difficult. However, when I got about 4 or 5 rows in, I actually, I don't know what I did, but I picked up my knitting and a whole section had come off the needle and started to unravel. And thankfully, because I had the lifeline in there, I was able to knit back up the section. It was actually over here. It was this whole section here. From the edge to the stitch marker, I had to knit back up. And I don't think it's exactly perfect because when I look at the back, there's a couple, there's one thread that's not going the right direction. But from the front, and when it's blocked and it's like a foot away, you're never going to know. But I was so glad I'd been grumbling about the lifeline because I was like, I don't need the lifeline, and I put it in, and now I can't get the stitches off. It took me an hour and a half to do that first row beyond the lifeline, and then later I was so glad I did because I was almost in tears when I lost it because it's complicated enough. I actually went outside and sat on the concrete on the patio because there was enough light out there, and I could block out the sympathetic stares from best friend who couldn't do anything and was just sitting there looking slightly horrified and trying not to move to make it worse. And of course the cats were meowing and it was bad, but all better now. So my intent also though is to take this with me to DC because we're going to be traveling on the train, and I'm actually going to have a lot of train traveling, and I actually find lace like this something nice to do on trips like that because it occupies my head. I'm also going to work on something else, I think. I'll probably have a sock, and I'll have that, and I have another shawl that I'm going to show you the pattern for in a little bit. Actually, if I can find it, I'll show it now. This pattern, Tan House Work Shawl. I actually won a copy of this pattern on the 90% Knitting podcast board. The designer is Jennifer Lassonde, and I want to say it's Boston Jen, but then I heard on the Knitmore Girls they said it was Boston or something. I don't know. But she is the hostess of the Down Cellar Studio podcast. I have never heard that podcast. I downloaded the latest 3 episodes, so I'm going to try and listen to it. Whenever I'm trying a new podcast, I usually try and give it 3 episodes because I think it's unfair to only do 1 because, what if the person was having an odd day, something like that. 3 usually gives me 2 at minimum. 3 usually gives me a really good feel for is this something I want to listen to. However, I haven't listened to it yet. I only downloaded them. So, but it's a triangular shawl with a whole lot of texture. And it is for 400 yards of fingering weight or 400 yards of worsted. And then the stitch counts are totally different. I have 600 yards of some hand spun, some fiber optic, and I think I'm going to use that and use the counts for the fingering weight. The worst that happens is if I run out, I just skip some of the sections at the bottom, or if I have extra, I could always put some extra garter stitch at the bottom. Either way, I think this is versatile enough that it will work. And that is probably the other thing I will take with me, because it looks like it's mindless enough that I could work on it while I'm on the train, while I'm visiting Tiff. So probably not so much when I'm in DC with my guy. So thank you to Fiber Nymph and Boston Jen. I'm going to stop real quick. I'm going to post a picture of the Wind in the Willows, the green shawl, and a picture of the fiber optic that I'm thinking of, just so you know where my head's at. Alright, now I have something else I've been working on, but I'm going to wait because it's going to be a little more discussion. So I'm going to show you a couple things that came in the mail. These actually came, and I should have shown you the last podcast, and I totally forgot. So normally I would say these are spoilers, but they are so beyond when I got them that I'm not going to worry about it. So one of them is the Socks That Rock Club, and this was the colorway is Forget Me Not. If I was smart, I would have pulled this all out. I always forget that these come with discounts. But the colorway is this blue, purple, green that looks very spring-like. I have not taken it out. I will make sure I get a picture of this and post it in here. But it also came with these socks called Quite Contrary. What I thought was interesting is the cuffs are actually knit. If you look carefully, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. The cuffs are actually knit sideways. And then you pick up and knit the foot. And then there was also a shawl called Water Lilies. And to be honest, neither pattern really excites me. I think the construction is interesting on this one. I don't think I'd wear them. They look like they'd fall down to me. And I can't tell in the picture if they are falling down or if it's the shadows from the grass and just the way they are on the leg. And maybe they're not, but they just give me that illusion. And the shawl is pretty, but it just... There are so many shawl patterns out there that this is not one. If I was looking for a shawl pattern to buy, this isn't one I would have. But I have it. And it does go well with the yarn. So the other thing, once before I had shown you an awesome box from yarnclub.net. And this one is just as awesome as the other one. Now, again, they come in these adorable little crates. The last I knew, they were handmade by YarnClub.net is part of New Stitch a Day. They're also part of the 30-Day Sweater Club that I was part of last year. And so Johnny Vasquez interviewed me for the 30-Day Sweater Club, and it's his brother that makes the crates, or at least was. I haven't verified that still is. But it comes in the crate. It comes with a little booklet that is all about the things in the crate. So there are these very nice wooden cable needles, and they are from hexagonal cable needles from North American Handwood from Rochester, Michigan. So it actually like tells a little bit about it and then has where it's located. On the back it also shows where everything's been located from. This is the spring one. So there are those. There are these very cute wooden buttons. They're just cute, and they go with the cowl pattern. So the stitchable buttons are from Massachusetts, from Redgate Stitchery. The project bag that I've been keeping my Wind in the Willow shawl is this one from Oink Pigments, and it's from Vista, California. And then there is yarn, of course. The yarn is also from Oink Pigments. This is a blue one, and it's navy, and this is Hibiscus Kiss. They are superwash merino. I don't know what weight. I'm thinking DK Sport, something like that. Or DK, it says at the top. So 270 yards. Beautiful colors. You can use them together. There's also a little skein of embroidery floss that matches this, because this also comes with a pattern designed by Lacey, who I was just talking about Johnny. Well, Lacey is Johnny's wife, and she's the one that actually designed the 30-day sweater. So there is a pattern for the Vesna cowl, which uses the buttons, uses the yarn obviously, and is cable patterned, so you can use the cable needles. So it's a very well thought out club. It is an expensive club. A shipment is $100. So it is an expensive club, and I will about one more, and then that'll probably be my last one, because it is expensive, but I really think it's pretty. And it was such a nice surprise to get in the mail. So last week at the end I had a picture of Missy hiding in the box. It was actually the box for this. And when I posted that, I was like, oh no, I forgot to show you guys. Alright, let me pause, and then I'm going to gather the stuff for the next thing I want to talk about. Well, the next piece is not so much a gather, but I had to pull things together. I want to post in for the inspiration, the items that have been inspirational to me. Now, I pulled these yesterday morning, so I know there's been like 10 more posts since I pulled these, but they'll just get caught next time. You know, I just go through and I pick out the things that I really like. So you are going to see a gorgeous blue shawl from Nikki, who is Living for Fishing. It's almost like a gradient. It's got different colors, but they go up in tone. So it's very pretty. And then Kepig did a whole bunch of baby hats, but she had several that have bunny ears, and I just thought they were so cute. I had to put one in because I thought they were cute, and I really hope she gets pictures at some point with somebody wearing the bunny ear hat. I'm not sure who they were for. Flibberty Gibbet had a huge red and multicolored shawl that is going across the back of a couch. Just beautiful. And I meant to look up to see what the pattern was, and I didn't do it. Emma Yes I Am, who is Suzanne, She has done several bears for the Mother Bear Project, which, by the way, Mother Bear Project is still going on. That one is kind of going slow. Right now, I think the prizes are, I might have to shift some of the prizes over. But MISIM, she did the cute little cat. I'm not sure what it was supposed to be, but it reminds me of like a anime cat. It was very cute. And then Liz Stitches did the red, white, and blue monster. And Tiff did the, oh, it's a Stephen West pattern. I know what it is. Spyro? I don't know. It's the big spiral one. Very pretty. And then Mom has a sweater. Now, if you remember, back in the winter when Tiff was here, Tiff and Mom spent some time snow dyeing yarn, and we showed you some pictures of how they did the snow dye. Well, Mom is now knitting sweaters from her snow dyed yarn, and so the picture there is the first sweater she made out of the one that's kind of a coral color. So those are the inspiration alongs. And let me pause. Alright, now it's possible that last section looks a little wonky because sometimes when I know I'm going to post in a video or something like that, my words change depending on whether I think I'm going to post it before or after. So I apologize. And I still don't know which one I'm going to do. I'll figure it out when I when I start putting everything together. As it is, the inspiration along pictures, I already chose them, so they're in a video on my phone. The tutorial, I actually used an app called Screen Recorder, and I did that on my PC, and so it's actually waiting on the PC. And then this is the pieces that I'm developing on the iPad, and then I'll have to put them all together. So, I told you guys that I signed up for a Craftsy class for tatting. At least I think I told you that. And then I was thinking about doing it for the Yarn Raising podcast. What are you waiting for? Craft along. She calls it a knit along, but it's pretty much anything. And she specifically had said knitting, crochet, or spinning. And I had posted something saying, what about tatting? Because I have all the stuff to tat, and yet I haven't done it yet. I'm a little scared. I have a Craftsy class. I have thread. I have a shuttle. I have instructions. I have a book. So I dove in starting last Friday and started taking my Craftsy class. And the first part of the Craftsy class, you weren't just learning how to do the stitches. I mean, I ended up with this little piece of, garbage. It's not anything. But here, let me post a picture. So it's nothing. It's just learning how to do chains, learning how to reverse and do rings, and the little picots, which are the little loops. So that was all it was. And then the next lesson, you make butterfly and flowers. Now these are really, really simplistic. It is just to teach you the basics of how to read a pattern and a pattern design, and how to join designs together. So I made all the little pieces, and then I needed to display them somehow, and I used rubber cement and a paper plate because I am not going to save this, but I just wanted to be able to show you. Now, this was my very first thing. So the very first thing you do is this little butterfly, which is just to teach you how to do a ring, and the picots. The picots are the loose loops, and you're supposed to know, to do big ones or little ones depending on the pattern. And then there was this simple flower, and it was a ring with a whole lot of picots, and they were supposed to all be the same size, but they're not. But it's a flower, so who cares? And you leave a stem. Then you do this one. And this is 2 flowers connected by a root. And the idea is you do one, you come down here, do another one, and then go up. So there was some confusion at first because in that little demo piece, you were always using 2 colors. And then you got to these, and you're only using the one color on your shuttle. So speaking of the shuttle, these are tatting shuttles. 2 different kinds. This one is plastic. It's from Clover. It just has the little swoop and a sharp tip here. This one is the Moonlit Shuttle from Happy Hands. It is a, I don't know, but it actually has a crochet hook on the end. From what I understand, the crochet hook is helpful when you do some of the other joins that I haven't got to yet. Right now, I prefer this one, but I think it's because I haven't had a need to use that crochet hook. And I'm still trying to get the motion down because it's a new motion. I have no muscle memory for this. But anyway, I don't remember what, there's a little grass thing. I don't remember what we were learning in all these. This one, we were learning how to join. So you make a ring and the picots, and on the next one, you actually join them and then keep going. So that was the first basic lesson. Now the next thing, let me show a picture of that. Now the next thing was actually earrings. Now these are not earrings yet. They have no hardware. I can get hardware from Mom when I go visit her, because she's at Wisconsin Craft Market, and along with having a huge selection of yarn, they also have supplies for other crafts. So getting jump rings and earring hooks is easy. So, but I have beads on here. This was a size 20 crochet cotton, which is thin. It was Elizabeth that I bought at Joann's. This is Aunt Lydia size 10, which is what the pattern called for the earrings. So, but I'm really happy with how they came out. The beads are actually they're not the right size. You were supposed to get size 8 beads, and I could find tiny seed beads at Joann's, or I could find size 6 beads. So I got size 6 beads, and they look just fine for what they are. So let me post a picture of that real quick. Now, you'll notice in one of those pictures there was actually 2.5 earrings. When doing the tatting for the earrings, you put part of your tatting thread on the shuttle and you leave the rest on the ball. But you need enough on the shuttle. And I actually ran out of shuttle thread before I was finished. She had made a mention, Mary Lee Rackley is the person that's teaching in the Craftsy class. She made a mention that for her 25 wraps equaled a yard. And then, so it said to do a yard, slide the beads to the shuttle, and then do a few more wraps. And that was not enough. It also in a different part of the direction said how much you should have on the shuttle, but I just did the 25 that she mentioned, slid the beads, and did like 3 more, and that was not enough, and I ran out. So the next time, of course, I put too much because then I was paranoid. Actually, the next 2 times, honestly. That being said, I learned a lot from that first half of one because I was really struggling with understanding how to reverse the work and how to read my stitches and know what was happening. So it was kind of wonky anyway. And then because of what I had learned in that one, when I did the second one, which was the second whole one, it went much better. And then by the time I did the first whole one, which was the second piece, it went much better. And by the time I did the third piece, which was the second earring, full earring, it went really well. So the next assignment is going to be a bracelet. And then there's a necklace. And in each segment of the Craftsy class, you're learning something new. Now, I have goods and bads with the Craftsy class. I think the lessons are laid out well. I think they grow upon each other very well. I, however, think that Mary Lee isn't used to teaching, especially in that kind of setting. The camera tries to focus on her hands, and then her hands move out of camera shot, and then the camera puts it back, and then her hands move out of camera shot. And when you're doing something that is all tatting and intricate, you need to be able to see her hands. That has been one complaint I have. Also, you are supposed to build up from the previous lesson, which is fine, but because this is a beginner class, sometimes she still goes too fast, and I would have liked her to slow down. But I bought the class on a 50% off sale, so I am not complaining. And like I said, I think the lessons themselves are very good. I think the way they expand on each other and you learn just enough is good. But I have found myself also, when I was confused on something, I went to YouTube and found somebody else. So I kind of supplemented. I also got a book here. I was going to show this book last, but it's kind of appropriate right now. I bought this book. This is a brand new book that Interweave just put out. So my guess is tatting's supposed to be the next big thing, and I just hopped on the bandwagon early. But this book has excellent picture tutorials. So in some cases, what I didn't understand in a video, I understood in words, or vice versa. I found this very good, with the caveat that I watched videos and then saw this. So I'm not sure if this had been my only thing. I'm not positive that it would have been quite as good, but I can't go back in time and change which way I did it. But I really think that this is a good resource. And then it's got some beautiful designs in it. So I will tell you, I got this book in the mail, and I immediately went over to my local Joann Fabrics, and then got really upset that they had no crochet cotton. Then I went to the big Joann Fabrics, and I put like all the colors in my basket. And then I thought to myself, Vicki, you should put some of these back until you know for sure that you like this. So I put them back. I limited myself. I only got 2 colors of size 10, which was the other thing. All of a sudden I realized that I had gotten all Elizabeth size 20. And I actually needed size 10 to finish the class. This is the next item. It's a bracelet. And then there's this, and I have the clasps for that one already. This is a necklace. I don't have all the hardware for that one yet. I have thread and beads. I don't have a big center bead, and I don't have the chain or the clasp. I started to buy them, and then I thought, well, and the other thing was, Joann's was having a Firefly Frenzy, so things all over the store were 50% off. Plus I had coupons. So everything I got was about the same as I would have gotten with Mom's discount. Which I'm saying because Mom will sit there and go, we have that stuff. But I also went on instant gratification. I wanted to try it, and I wanted to try it right now that I knew what to do. There's a snowflake, which on some of these, like the snowflake, I was kind of thinking, do I really want to do it? But there's a different join, I think. There's something, in each one there's something you're learning. So I do think it's kind of important. Anyway, so I'm really enjoying it. I've been enjoying it so much that I have gone and downloaded like a ton of patterns. The other thing I had gotten before I got this book, I got this one a while back because Kelly Petkin of Knitpicks had mentioned it on her podcast. So, and the one thing about tatting is, honestly, there is no good purpose for it. I mean, when you knit, you're making a sweater, you're making socks, you're making a shawl, you're making something purposeful. There's really not a good reason to make these. I mean, they're doilies. Maybe you can change some of them into jewelry, but like this, there's no reason to make that except that it's pretty. There's a couple in here. There's some table runners and things like that in here. I'm trying to... They do make some coasters, or they framed it as artwork. So, I mean, really, tatting is mostly... It's more for art than anything else. I believe I had told you that I had gotten into this because... and then didn't do it. Because Interweave Knits had a Get Started Tatting Kit that they were selling. And they said the pattern was in piecework, and if you got the kit, you would get the pattern, and you'd have everything you need to make this greeting card. Now, there's a picture of the greeting card. That's in solid, and this is in different colors. I was expecting to get a blank card, shuttle, thread, pattern, and general instructions. It did not come with that. It came with shuttle, thread, and a digital copy of the whole magazine. However, the whole magazine came with the pattern, nothing about a how-to. And I assumed a get started kit would include how-to. There's nothing in the magazine that is how-to. And I looked at this pattern and I went R855, R5 plus 8 minus 8 minus 5. And I was like, I have no idea what any of this means. There's no way I can ever do this. I don't understand. There's no diagram. I will tell you I like the ones with diagrams better because I'm a visual person. I was really struggling with this. I'm also a programmer, so I want to know what the syntax means. I want to know what that means, and it didn't mean anything. It was like reading Lisp or machine language. It didn't mean anything. I can now say I printed it out and looked at it again today, and I went, oh, ring, chain 8, picot, chain 5, picot, chain, actually not chain, ring, 8 double stitches, picot, 5 double stitches, picot, 5 double stitches, close ring, new ring, 5 double stitches, join a picot, 8 double stitches, large picot, 8 double stitches, small picot, 5 double stitches, close ring. I know what it means now. Now, because if you don't tat, you probably still don't know what in the world I said. But the thing is I knew what it was. And so I was happy because now I will probably be able to actually make these. Now, I still need cardstock if I'm going to put them on a card or put them in a frame or something like that. But I'm really excited because my programmer's brain understands the syntax. Now, I still need to teach my hands how to do all the things, but I understand how it's supposed to work. So, all right, that is enough of the tatting, even though you can probably tell I'm really excited about it. I'm probably going to bring some tatting with me because well, the theory is it's small. I was laughing. I was watching Kelly Petkin talking about tatting because in the process of going back and trying to figure out different things, she was talking about I went and looked at hers because I was trying to remember what books she used besides this one. She was talking about that the crochet cotton they have at Knit Picks, which is called Curio. Mom uses it for the dolls. She really likes it. Kelly was using it for tatting, and she said tatting is actually supposed to be a very small project, something you can have in your purse. But you have these big balls of Curio, and it's not very practical. Well, I'm kind of seeing that because I have the big balls of the size 10 crochet cotton, and they're not very practical. They're not small little projects. But anyway, I'm really enjoying it. All right, I'm going to stop talking here, and I'm going to put in the tutorial, and then that'll be the end of the episode, except for the end credits. So I will see you guys all. I'm planning to record next week, just like normal, and then the following week there will not be a recording because that's when we're traveling through DC and stuff. But at some point while I'm on my trip, I will be recording with Tiff. Whether or not I bring that recording back and process it at home or I process it at her house, we don't know yet because we haven't I haven't checked out her new computer and made sure that she has the software and stuff that I need. But she and I will figure that out. One way or the other, we're going to record, and you will see that one when you see it. So, and she and I are hoping to do a yarn crawl around parts of Virginia, and we're hoping that Beagle Mom Knitter can join us. I know she has something going on with her son, and she's not sure of timing, but I'm really hoping she can join us. Our schedule's kind of open, so we're trying to decide if we're going to see fireworks and where, because it will be the 4th of July. We're meeting an old friend of Tiff's to see the Smithsonian Natural Museum. We're meeting an old friend of my guy's who's going to take us. We told him to take us anywhere that he really likes, and he has a car, so he could take. So I think he's taking us to one of the botanical gardens. Yeah, it'll be a adventuresome trip, and I think that's all. So watch for the tutorial on the Ravelry activity tab. I think it's really useful, and then I will see you guys all next week. Bye. Hi, so I wanted to show you some things on Ravelry for organization and keeping track of multiple groups you might be in. So if you're like me, you're in a lot of different groups. So I have my groups spread across tabs. So I have my frequent reads is my first page. That's actually the one I go to all the time. You can see it has the DragonflySoars podcast. It has the Unique Sheep Mystery Shawl knit along, which I'm keeping close tabs on right now because of the Wind in the Willow knit along. I also have one for podcasts, which has all my podcasts that I listen to. Rare reads are a few unique things. The Swatcher Secret Hangout is a group where Casey will post codes to try so that people can try out new functionality and let him know how it's working before he releases it to everybody. There's nothing in there right now, but it's nice to kind of keep an eye on. Knit Companion, I don't need to know everything that people are doing in their projects, but I like being in it in case I have questions. Shops are shops, and they may have shop updates or anything like that. Retreats and events. Sometimes if something is getting close, like Stitches Midwest, I may move it to frequent reads because I want to keep an eye on it. And then when it's done, I'll move it back. podcast hiatus, our podcast, and I'm hoping we'll come back, and I want to stay in the group just in case. So I have this activity tab, and you probably don't if you're watching this. So I'm going to show you how to get that and show you how to make these tabs. So I'm going to settings. Now in settings there are a bunch of things in case you've never been here. You can pick and choose of the main 6 Ravelry boards which ones you don't want to be in. I stay out of tools and yarn. You can change which voting buttons you see. I turned off my disagree button. Here in the other settings is the activity feed, which is the activity tab, but we'll come back to that. Down here, there's organize your boards into tabs. So this is where you can add a new tab. Here it comes in untitled. You can edit it and call it new test tab. Say OK. And now this tab will be available. Now I may put something, we're going to move sweaters for dragons over there. You can just, like I just did, drag and drop. I'm going to move Stitches Midwest to my frequent reads because it's starting to get close. So now you just drag and drop. Now you cannot move these boards. I can't move this test tab to the front. So if you want to move stuff around, you kind of have to play around. You have to create you may have to create a temporary tab and swap stuff in and out. But you can always rename this. So I could rename this, retreats, and then move stuff around. We're not going to do that. All right. Now, in the other settings, there was that activity feed. You click the checkbox so that it's checked if you want to show the activity tab on your forums page. And there's a link here so you can preview what your activity feed will look like. I'm not going to do that right now because we're going to actually look at my true activity feed. Return to the boards. Now you can see here I have a new tab, that test tab, and in my frequent reads, Stitches Midwest is now there. And here's my activity tab. Now the activity tab will show you things that, in this case, this was a reply to me, so it shows up. This is a thread I have chosen to watch. It's the Knit Swirl Knit Along for next year's Knitopia. This is one of my forums, and it is a new topic in the high fiber diet forum. In this case, I've already read the post, but I can click the show the post button and then it will show here. Now along with this, I can click the down arrow and change things. I could say I want to hide posts from Debbie Jazz. Maybe there's somebody that you tend to want to ignore and you don't want to see them on your activity either. That would be the purpose for this. You could hide this post. You could decide, I really don't want this post cluttering this up. I've seen it now. I want to hide it. You could say you want to hide all posts in this topic. I actually have used that. I'll show you in a minute. Or hide new topics in this forum. So, I could say I don't care about seeing new topics generated in the high fiber diet. So I'm going to click that one right now. And now that post disappeared, and if there's any posts, any new topics started in high fiber diet, they will not be on my thread. Now you may wonder why you would want to do that. Well, in my case, I do that for the groups that are on my frequent reads page. If I'm already seeing them on my frequent reads page, I don't need to also see them in my activity. So I took out the forums like that. You may also decide that there's a topic that somebody replied to you, but then you don't want to see the rest. So you could say hide all posts in this topic.
I do that sometimes for the inspiration along threads because a lot of those are replies to me. I don't need to see them here. I keep track of that thread all by itself. So now, what if you want to undo that? I really want to see high fiber diet. I click undo at the top, and here's high fiber diet podcast. That's a hidden forum. Well, we don't want that, so we're going to unhide it. It says, are you sure you want to stop hiding? Yep. So now here you can see crochet on Ravelry, unique sheep mystery knit along. I'm hiding those because they're on my main page. I don't need to watch them in the activity. Rhinebeck and Tour de Fleece have a lot of activity, and I'm not participating in them this year, so I don't care to see them right now. And again, a hidden topic is was the inspiration along, because those come through as replies to me, but I see them on my frequent reads. So now we went back, and if I scroll down, whoops, way too fast. If I scroll down, I can see the high fiber diet is here again. Anyway, so once I got set up, kind of what I want to keep hidden, then between the activity tab and my main page, I can now keep track, and I feel more in control, and I don't miss, shop updates and things like that, or I'm less likely to miss them anyway. So I think that's all. I will see you guys next week.